Hello, my garden friends. This is Jersey Shore Lisa from MyNJGarden.com. And instead of being out in the garden today, we're in the kitchen. It's strawberry season. And if you have strawberries growing in your yard or garden or farm, wherever you are, you've been picking them for a few weeks now, especially in the Northeast. I plant Ozark Beauty strawberries. They're an ever-bearing variety, and that means that you'll get harvests longer in the spring. You'll get another harvest possibly in the fall, and the berries tend to be a little smaller than the June-bearing variety. With June-bearing strawberries, you get one big harvest in June, and then they kind of peter out and they're done for the season. But ever-bearing should give you some strawberries throughout the season, though mine definitely stall out in the very heat of summer. However, they have been producing like crazy this spring, and I've been picking them consistently. Now, it depends on how many strawberries you have planted in the yard. If you have quite a lot planted in the yard, you can make a big recipe, like a strawberry cobbler, that calls for 3 cups of strawberries without flinching and blinking twice. You go outside, you pick all 3 cups of strawberries at one time, and you bring them in and make your recipe. But if you have fewer strawberry plants in the yard, you might not get 3 cups at a time. So what I've been doing is I've been going out and picking the strawberries and bringing them in and putting them in the fridge until I collect enough for whatever I want to do with them for a big recipe for the family. If it's something just for me, slicing them up, putting them on some cereal, that's perfect. I can do that with what I pick from going out in the yard. But I collect enough to make a big recipe and I store them. So this time I had them in the freezer. So I was washing them, bringing them in from outside, washing them, slicing off the top, slicing them up, and freezing them. So to make this recipe, rather than use straight fresh strawberries, I took my frozen strawberries and measured them out and thawed them a little bit in the microwave, and now we're ready to go. What I'm making today is strawberry cobbler. It's gonna be super easy, really fast to make. You probably have all the rest of the ingredients in your fridge and pantry, and now your whole family can enjoy a dish of deliciousness made from the fresh strawberries from your garden. So let's get to it. The first step is to take 3 cups of strawberries and to mix them with a 1/2 cup of sugar. So this isn't like bright white sugar. I usually use organic cane sugar. It doesn't matter what sugar you use, whatever you have, but that's why this is a little more tan colored. That's just the kind of sugar that I ended up getting. So I'm going to mix that up, and then it says to set it aside. And the next step is in a large bowl, you whisk together flour, baking powder, salt, and sugar. So I need a cup of flour here. Where's that 1/2 cup from my sugar? Here we go. I'm not quite the baker myself, so I'm not like being super careful about how much flour I put in, but I am trying to make them level the cups, 2 1/2 cups there. And what goes next? We have baking powder, 2 teaspoons. And we'll put this in. Now, right now we're putting the dry ingredients together. We have just about 2 teaspoons of baking powder left in here, so using it all up. Okay, and then salt, we need a 1/2 teaspoon. This is Himalayan salt. That beeping is just my oven coming up to temperature. We preheat the oven to 375 degrees. And what else? Another 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Usually in recipes it says to pack the brown sugar. Look at that. I just basically have enough ingredients to make this recipe, and then I have to go shopping. So there we go, a half a cup. And now I'm just gonna take that strawberry fork and mix that all together so that everything is well distributed in the dry ingredients. Because when you do bake something like this, I make a lot of muffins, so they're quick breads. It's the same kind of thing. So you put together the dry ingredients in one bowl, the wet ingredients in another bowl, and then when you do combine them, you don't over mix them. That's what gets you a really dense, tough muffin or whatever else you're baking. So you just want to combine them until they're just combined. There's no like puddles of wetness and poofy dryness in your bowl. That's where you stop mixing, and then you just throw it in the oven. So that's what we're gonna do. So the dry ingredients are all together. So now the wet ingredients, I have a cup of milk, and I'm gonna crack 1 egg into it. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is McCormick's organic vanilla extract, but use whatever you have or whatever you like to use. And then what comes next? The butter. So I'm supposed to grease the dish with butter. This is 1 stick of butter melted. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of the butter into the dish first. So that I can spread that around and use it to grease the dish. And then, let me get a napkin to be able to do that. And then the rest of the butter will go into the wet ingredients. There we go, multitasking. So here we go. I'm just gonna stir the wet ingredients together a little bit because I did put that egg in there, and I just wanna make sure that everything is homogeneous, I guess, and all mixed together well. And now, let me just make sure that that's all that needs to happen. Perfect. Add to flour and stir until just combined. And there we go. So it's now, we see that there's still a little bit of, can you see the powdery stuff? I think that's combined. That's it. No more stirring. So now we pour the batter into the dish. Oh no, there was still some powdery stuff in the bottom. It's okay. Let me get a scraper so that it all comes out of there. We want all that tastiness. And we're good to go. So this is nice and evenly spread out. I can't tell you the size of this container. It's a Corningware casserole. I guess maybe it's 11 inches this way, maybe 8 inches that way, maybe 2.5 inches deep. So that we have that, and now we spoon the strawberries over the top. So let's do that with the measuring cup. These are the sweetened strawberries. You do not mix them in, you just kind of plop them around. And I think you can cut them up a little more finely than I actually did here. I kind of chunked them. They're in like thirds and quarters. But I think that's going to be delightful, getting a mouthful of strawberries in your cobbler. Okay. Do not stir. And now we're done. And it's ready to go into the oven. Take a look at that. Oh, it looks so good. So now we're gonna put that in for 35 to 40 minutes until golden brown. And then we can serve it. You can eat it the way it is, warm. You can have it with some vanilla ice cream, some whipped cream. Let's put it in the oven and we'll be back when it's done. Hi everyone, we're back, and the timer just went off for the strawberry cobbler in the oven, so let's take it out and see what it looks like. Oh wow, it looks so good. Check this out, it's all bubbly and brown and steamy. Okay, we're gonna let it cool down for a little bit, and then we'll plate it up and have a taste. Now we can see that this has been cooling for a little while. It's out of the oven. I can touch the pan now, and I'm just going to take a little scoop of it and put it on the plate so you can see what it looks like. There's all those juicy strawberries in with what's basically like a sweet pancake batter, I would think. And here we are ready to try. I have some whipped cream here. I'm gonna put that on top. Who doesn't love strawberries and cream? So this is strawberry cobbler with strawberries harvested from MyNJGarden. Here we go. It's delightful. I'm so glad we did this. And it's very quick. I actually did leave it in the oven for 5 more minutes than the recipe called for. So I would say 375 for 45 to 50 minutes in the oven. And I'll put the recipe in the description so you can follow along and make this yourself with recipes that you grow. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. Leave me a comment if you like, and let me know if you decide to make this recipe and how you liked it. Bye-bye. Happy gardening.